Welcome to Omega Coding Web Development Lessons. There is nothing difficult in web development and development in general, and I can prove it to you. Today's lesson is going to be about the synchronous and the asynchronous actions. So, synchronous actions are executed while loading, and the asynchronous actions can be executed a while after loading. Now, the reason that we are studying the asynchronous actions is that it is really important to show the information that we get from the backend and the API on our application. In order to run the process properly, we will be needing a middleware which will organize the entire process. Now, the easiest library to be used in the Redux is the Thunk Redux library. Now, we install the Redux-thunk. We write npm I redux -- save. Now, after that we install the Redux-thunk library, here again we start our project npm start. Now let us see our code here. With the create a store, we create a store and it can take two values at the same time. The first one is the reducers and the second one can be either the DevTools command or the middleware. Now to run both of the values together, we have to install DevTools Redux DevTools extension. Now after we install the Redux DevTools extension, again we run our project with the npm start. After that we import the Redux DevTools from the Redux DevTools extension. And then we add to the create a store, apply middleware from the Redux library, and finally we import the thunk from the Redux library. We'll remove the code and here instead I write compose with DevTools. Apply middleware in which we write thunk. The developed version of the compose method add to the DevTools what is written in it. Also, through the apply middleware, we can add middleware to our application. And in case you want to add another middleware, then all you have to do is to write a comma here and then you write the name of the middleware. Till now we used only one middleware and we are using the Redux-thunk to receive asynchronous questions. Now the following way of writing is copied from one project to another and is not actually changed. Let's add a button in the app.js. We create a button. Here we don't call function anymore. Rather, we write this props BMW models. As you can see that I neither called a method nor I declared a function and called it from there. Rather, the map dispatch to props is called immediately when you click the button. Now, the following button should give a command to our application so that the information is uploaded asynchronously. Now let us add in the dispatch state to props a method which will be BMW models, in which we declare an arrow function again. Now we don't want to give object to the following element, rather a function. That's why we declare function async get models and we write dispatch async get models and we call the following function. Now in the following arrow function we return again an arrow function as well, which gets the dispatch argument and in which the setTimeout works. Again with the arrow function we call an unnamed function and with the console log we copy like anything. Let's suppose I got cars. And after 2 seconds we call what is copied in the console log. And just like we wrote the dispatch, we add here dispatch in which we write the type fetch cars info. And after that we write the payload and let's suppose for the moment it's an empty array. So we should understand that first we call the dispatch, and instead of giving to the dispatch an object, we gave instead a function in which the following code is written. After that, in the following function, we return another function in which we have a dispatch argument. And in the following function, we can run like any process and call the dispatch when we want it. For example, here we can run like any asynchronous of processes, and only after that we call the dispatch. You might see the process here a little bit incomprehensible, but step by step we will understand everything. Okay, now let's reload our application. When we click on the Show BMW Models button, you will see that in the console log, the I got cars appears after 2 seconds. It appears exactly the same way that we have inserted in the app.js I got cars here. Also, when we go to the Redux, in the state, when we click on the Show BMW Models, you can see after 2 seconds the following action, which is fetch cars info, appears here. Okay, so let us optimize our code a little. And therefore we create a new directory which we call it actions, and in the actions we create a new JavaScript file which we call it getBMWCars, and in the getBMWCars we insert the async getModels function, and there it is. Okay, now let's change the name of the file. Now this file is the one that runs all the actions related to our application. It will be the file that answers all the backend questions. Now let's suppose we change the name into getCarsInfo. getCarsInfo. Okay. Now we export the following function. Also we change the name of the function, which will be getCars. And we import the getCars in the app.js. And now we use the following function, which means instead of async getModels, we write here getCars. Now let us optimize our code a little. Here we write dispatch, and we remove the following line, as well as we remove the following curly bracket. So as you can see here that we have 2 arrow functions. The code appears to be more simple here, and we can see that we get 2 arrow functions, which the first one doesn't get an argument and the second one gets the dispatch argument. Now let us create objects array in which the models will be inserted. All cars. Now the objects array will have the following style. It will be that way, in the following way. We are doing an imitation so that the following objects array is called from the API or the backend. Now let's insert the following array in the payload. Now let's insert the following array in the payload. Okay. Now we can see that in the dispatch we are sending the fetch cars info action type, and now we should add the fetch cars info in the reducers. And that's why we create a new reducer, which is car get data. So we export the following reducer, which will get an empty value, and the action type will be fetch cars info. Also, we import the cars get data in the index.js, and we add it in the combine reducers. So now in the Redux we can see the cars get data information in which we have the models. So when we click on the Show BMW Models button, the fetch cars info will appear in our Redux store. That was our lesson for today. I hope you enjoyed it.